how to recognize your true soulmate. Now, what is a soulmate? I believe a soulmate is one of those people who suddenly, sometimes you can just be walking along a street and then you get to, let's say a bus stop, and you pass a bus stop, you see somebody there. They don't have to be like particularly in your mind good looking or looking a certain way. For some reason, you just feel really connected to them and you don't know why. And you feel like, and I don't know if you've ever had this situation before where you feel like, I just want to speak to them. I just want to say hi. I just want to smile at them. I don't know what it is. There's something about the energy I just feel connected to right now. And let me tell you something. If you trust that gut instinct, and if you trust that energy in that moment and flow with that energy, that's where the magic happens. It's because when in those moments, right, you can go over and you probably had this situation before, you go over and you say hi, you start speaking, and there's so many things that are connected in your lives and you don't know why. Well, first of all, there's multiple explanations around this. Some people talk about the parallel universes that are happening all at the same time. And one thing that I believe is that there are all of these things happening at the same time. And at the same time, there's also something to do with, now this is the big moment here where a lot of people talk about past life. Now some of you I know instantly will be thinking, past life, Eric, is this what this video is going to be about? Well, first of all, this is exactly what I used to think, people talk about past lives and I used to switch off because I would be like, why are you talking about past lives and how do you know it's real? Like, why are you even, like, what is this past life thing? But one thing we cannot deny is that we've all had this experience before. A total stranger, someone you've never physically felt like met in this lifetime, and you've never met this person before, but for some reason, the moment you start speaking, everything starts connecting, right? You like the same things, you have the same interests. Even when you talk about your history of your life so far, right? It seems to be like we're living the same life, but how does this even happen? And one thing I truly believe is that all of this is actually connected to the parallel universes and also connected to our past lives. And one thing I'd like to share with you here is something that's actually quite personal to myself. But one thing I only realized recently when I was running a body, mind, and spirit retreat out in Malaysia. And I realized that, I don't know what it was, I went diving 2 years ago out in Bali. And I don't know why, I just couldn't do it. I went down into the water and then I felt like I was suffocating. I needed to come back up again. I tried 3 times. Now I do a lot of things like fire walk, glass walk, arrow break, iron bar bend. We do a lot of crazy breakthroughs, right? And I think these guys, our audience back here, are really enjoying this show today. So anyway, and I was like that, and I was thinking, what is going on, right? Why can't I do this? And then everything started connecting after that, right? Because what actually happened was, and a lot of the time, our fears, our doubts, sometimes do not belong in this time, in this lifetime, and actually belongs from our past lives. And one thing to understand is that we never really die. We just enter into a new form, right? And then I remember asking this question to a great master of mine. And I said, but if there is such thing as past life, then why do we forget our past life? Like, when does the forgetting happen? Do we drink some magic potion and it all disappears, or what happens? And then he explained, he said, very logically, if you understand this, if somebody sleeps for 9 months in the belly, right? If somebody sleeps and stays dormant for 9 months, you're gonna forget a lot of things. It's very natural. And in fact, now, if you think back to when you were a baby, when you were a kid, a very young kid, I don't know if you've had this feeling before, but I used to have this a lot. I used to have a lot of weird dreams that seem really, really real. And it's the same flashbacks I would get over and over again. And one thing that connected, which still freaks me out today, right, is when I was younger and I was a kid, and I used to have these nightmares every single night, and I would see the same guy come and suffocate me every single day. And then I used to run to mom and dad's room and I used to start crying. And I didn't know what it was, but now everything's connecting, and I just realized that every single time anything is around my mouth or anything, I would freak out. And I started to connect all of these things, and I thought, wow, isn't this amazing? Now, a lot of you can be like, well, Eric, that sounds a bit weird. I don't believe what you're saying. All of this stuff can't be connected. And then when I was growing up, I went to the doctors and they said I had asthma, so I had a breathing problem. All of these things are connected. Whether you believe it or not, if you start thinking about it, if you start thinking about your life so far, if you start thinking about from childhood, the thoughts, you'll start realizing everything's connected. And so how does this relate to us finding our soulmate? Well, one thing I believe is that our soulmates are people who we have been mates for a long time, been friends for a long time, right? Whether that be a loving relationship, whether that be a mother and daughter relationship, or a father and son, or whatever relationship it may be, we've had this relationship before. How else can you explain meeting a stranger, a random stranger in the street, and everything connects? So how to recognize that true soulmate is very simple. A lot of the time, when you feel that gut feeling, right, where you don't know what it is, you see someone and I feel like we've spoken before. I feel like we've had a conversation before. Most likely you are soulmates. And so you go over, speak to them, and then you'll find a lot of things start unfolding. But the most crucial thing is this, right? In those moments, because our paths will cross time and time again through our lifetime, right? Or throughout this lifetime and the next lifetime. The important thing is when you feel that gut feeling or that good feeling or even that God feeling, that is your calling, that is your purpose to reconnect. And that is how to recognize your soulmate. Anyway, guys, peace and love to you all. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Every week we do 3 videos on this channel related to spirituality, business, and we do a lot of vlogging as well. So there's a lot of inspiration, motivation to keep you updated with the latest technology, the latest business tools, and keeping in line with your spirituality. Anyway, guys, make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Peace and love.